Just imagine, what if the least talented chefs with the worst attitudes came together in one season? Oh man, that would be a nightmare for Chef Ramsay. And I think this contestant from season 13 would be the first one to go on that list.
Fries? Where's the fries? 3 times, where's the fries?
Well, honestly, I think Ro's performance was inconsistent as hell.
Get out! Sit down. Enjoy your scallops.
She was way too overhyped because she was the only executive chef in the group. Initially perceived as a leader due to her experience and age, Ro's performance gradually went downhill as the season progressed. By the time only 14 contestants remained, her skills dwindled to a pretty low point by the final 8.
Back in for at least another 4 minutes. It's fucking blue.
Yes,
Hurry
sir.
up.
Yes, sir.
Use your brain.
And no way in hell did she deserve a black jacket. Her early prominence within the red team as their leader and mentor gradually faded as repeated mistakes piled up both in the challenges and during service.
Unfortunately, what I just had was a mouthful of salt.
20 minutes, I think you could have done that in 5.
And as per usual, Reddit's got the answer as to why Jennifer seemed to have it out for Ro. Apparently, Ro has some sort of tattoo of an Iron Cross, which is associated with Nazi Germany and racism, and that seemed to be pretty understandable to fuel Jennifer's disdain. Well, if that's truly what fueled the tension between them, it's kind of unsettling that the show portrayed it solely as a competitive rivalry. However, there seems to be some validity to this theory too. For example, during the Omaha Steak Challenge, Ro emerged victorious. However, a moment captured on camera revealed her sporting a sleeveless top, unveiling that very same Iron Cross tattoo on her left upper arm, adding weight to the speculation surrounding Jennifer's motivations. Now, I don't know about you, but something as monumental as this is where I draw the line. Anyway, let's put that aside and sink our teeth into some real talentless hacks. And where better to start than season 20, which saw some of the worst performers ever. And the first name that popped into my head was Matthews, so let's start there for a sec. Oh man, this dude was beyond horrible, and the only reason I'm not including him in this video is because I've already talked about his stint on one of my earlier videos on times chefs got caught cheating. You totally should check it out. As for today, I've got my sights set on this guy.
We got this, no problem. They have no idea what we're capable of.
And if you don't recognize him, no worries, trust me, this guy was extremely forgettable. During the signature dish challenge, Alex strutted into the kitchen armed with a pan-seared duck, sporting a soy whiskey reduction and sautéed bok choy. Unfortunately, it seemed that his idea of pan-seared involved creating a dish that could double as a leather boot sole. Slicing the duck really brought out the essence of shoe leather.
Way overcooked, was a great shame. The actual flavor, delicious.
And then came the alcohol challenge. Now, we aren't talking about mixology here, we're talking about cooking with alcohol. But alas, Alex's dish failed to intoxicate Chef Ramsay's taste buds, landing him among the blue team's 3 worst dishes. As luck would have it, he was the sole survivor of the tasting trio and presented a New York strip with honey glazed carrots and scotched eggplant. And Chef Ramsay's verdict, well, it was a huge meh.
It's far from great, but it's not terrible. Back in line, thank you.
See, he failed to stand out, not even for all the wrong reasons. Until he did. During the second dinner service, Alex took charge of cooking the chicken, confidently asserting that it beat child's play.
A 10-year-old can cook a chicken, it all comes down to timing.
Oh, the irony. As Sam brought his chicken to the pass, it turned out to be more raw than Chef Ramsay would have preferred.
It's raw.
For the refire, Alex sought a second opinion from his teammates, and that's when Trenton suggested 9 more minutes to cook it. But Chef Ramsay ultimately had to unveil its undercooked glory to the entire room.
It's that raw, even Kirsty can see it from over there.
This debacle eventually led Chef Ramsay to his boiling point. He declared last orders for the men and sent them marching right out of the kitchen.
Get out! All of you!
See, this was still fine, but what he did next during the elimination ceremony seriously got under my skin. Peyton announced that he was the first nominee, followed by Jay as the second, and yes, we'll get to him as well. Chef Ramsay was seeking answers. When he tried to get into the nitty-gritty about why the night flopped so hard,
communication just come from the meat station. It was messing me up, and I definitely came just a little unprepared today.
this is when Chef Ramsay turned to Alex for clarification. But instead of just owning his part in the mess, Alex conveniently shifted the blame, insisting the real trouble started with the chicken orders.
It became really overwhelming once the chicken, started becoming ordered in.
With Chef Ramsay's razor-sharp scrutiny focused on the chicken debacle, Alex confidently claimed his ability to cook chicken and asserted that he communicated the required temperature to his team. However, the famous chef had more questions to ask.
Behind you is an array of talent that could easily identify the chicken's cooked or not, right?
Yes, chef.
Oh, that could only mean one thing.
What you're saying that nobody behind you can cook a chicken now as well.
Yes, chef.
Yeah, way to display teamwork, people. And then, in a blame game showdown, he tried to throw everyone under the bus that he could.
Who told you it was cooked?
Antonio.
As a result, the famous chef summoned Antonio. Though, when faced with the accusation, he denied any involvement.
I didn't touch that chicken, chef.
So who told Alex the chicken was cooked?
So now, it was time for Alex to shift the blame yet again.
Trenton.
Oh, good. But Trenton denied these claims as well, creating a frustrating web of conflicting stories.
What the is going on? You told him the chicken was cooked?
Absolutely not.
And just like you probably expected, Chef Ramsay lost his patience.
Put the
I'm
chicken
going
in the
upstairs and
pan.
off you for 30 seconds. I want to come down and you tell me the truth.
He briefly retreated, cooled down for a sec, and returned with a demand for truth. As the four nominees squabbled, the women on the sidelines also tried to make sense of the situation. Alex continued his blame parade, this time targeting Sam for bringing up the raw chicken. However, Sam didn't want any part of that nonsense.
I didn't put him to the test because I put him in front of you.
It was both irritating and hilarious to watch. I don't know what Alex was trying to achieve here when a simple "sorry chef, I fucked up, it won't happen again" would do.
I guarantee you ran the chicken.
No one, no, honestly.
Yeah, like, this is ridiculous.
Like, come on, just do it. Anyway, after Chef Ramsay's brief hiatus, he returned to confront Alex, seeking the unvarnished truth about the damn chicken. Though, Alex's finger remained pointed squarely at Sam. So the famous chef really started to put the pressure on the guy. Now, Sam maintained his innocence, adamantly stating that he didn't tamper with the chicken. He clarified that he merely removed it from the oven for Alex.
I pulled it from the oven and I did not touch it.
You should have touched it. If you pull it from the oven,
agree.
you should touch it.
With Ramsay's patience hanging by a thread, he admonished Alex for failing to maintain control over his station. He dissected what had become Chicken Gate, concluding that the mishap occurred because Sam pulled the chicken from the oven and sent it up without proper inspection.
Don't commit to something you're not in control and you're not prepared to follow through with.
Yes, chef.
After this whole debacle, it was Jay who faced elimination due to his subpar performance on the garnishes. As he exited the competition, Jay expressed his sentiments, saying,
I'm definitely pissed off right now. You know, at least I was honest about my mistakes. I think Alex should have been the one going home tonight.
and guess what? A lot of viewers were of a similar mind. But it didn't really matter since he stumbled yet again the very next day. And this time, it would be his last. Alex found himself placed at the garnish station. He encountered challenges in recalling orders requiring multiple returns to ensure accuracy.
Go check your donut.
All day, 2 New York steak.
3 New York steaks.
New York steak all day. All day.
This struggle didn't escape the notice of his teammates, with Peyton expressing a clear ultimatum.
Alex has 2 services in a row. He up a 3rd strike, he's out.
But Alex encountered further setbacks as he fell behind on the garnishes, running a minute and a half late.
He's spinning around. Our first table, that's the only responsibility he's had all night.
Chef Ramsay, visibly frustrated by the team's performance, threatened to dismiss the entire team due to Alex's shortcomings.
Off outside, walk down the museum, go for a walk. Get out, get out.
As a response, he sent him outside for a breather, a decision that really got under Antonio's skin, who believed it was a plain old dumb move to confess such vulnerability to Chef Ramsay. Taking a moment outside of the kitchen, Alex realized the gravity of his mistake, decided to take accountability and clear his head before returning.
On garnish, when I see all those tickets, it gets me flustered.
The team, aided by Steve's efforts on the garnishes, managed to push out their first order. But Chef Ramsay's patience wore thin as he issued a stern warning for Alex to snap out of his damn slump. Unfortunately, the struggles persisted. Antonio entrusted Alex to walk the salmon to the pass, only to discover that it was undercooked.
Bro, off. All of you, get in the storeroom. I'm done.
Chef Ramsay, fed up with the state of things and the team's apparent lack of remorse over it, gathered the men and rebuked them for their consistent failures.
No one ashamed, no?
Not gonna happen again. We need to push harder and we're just gonna keep communicating.
Now, there's a heated debate raging to this day about whether Alex was worse than Jay or not. If you remember, Jay was eliminated before him for the same reason, sucking on the garnishes. At the time, as the team was nearly ready, Jay urgently called for the salmon garnish, only to realize that there was no salmon prepared for the damn order.
There's no salmon. It's the New York strip and the beef Wellington.
After that metaphorical faceplant, they convened for a discussion. And Jay openly admitted to Chef Ramsay that his attention may have been misplaced, resulting in the Wellington garnish not showing up on time.
What were you focusing on?
I was looking at the wrong ticket.
Then, Chef Ramsay's insistence on immediate action intensified the pressure, visibly unsettling Jay as he struggled to maintain composure. Throughout the service, Jay's distress became more and more pronounced. He had been confused since the prep time. So, he turned to Chef Ramsay for some guidance, only to be reminded of the details by his fellow teammates instead.
He's asked me what ticket we're on.
Calling it a horrible performance barely even cuts it. And of course, what Chef Ramsay said about him after he walked was brutal.
After watching Jay struggle so badly on garnish, I decided to assign him to a different station, the train station.
Now, there are people who hate on Brynn for getting freaked out at times, but the poor girl was clearly a perfectionist and had high standards for herself. Plus, she had some genuine anxiety issues as well. Unlike Jay or Alex though, they were just frazzled and had no skills whatsoever. So, what do you think? And more importantly, who do you think was worse, Jay or Alex? The biggest literally who's who the show has ever seen. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. But if I remember correctly, Season 16 also has a ton of irredeemable characters. And while they've all received frequent mentions on my channel in the past, the contestant I'm talking about today is someone who had to fake an injury just to cover how unprepared she was. Yeah, none other than Gia. Trust me, she looked confused about her role from the very beginning.
Are you on fish?
Yes, I'm on fish.
We need to send appetizers and entrees first before the dessert, right?
Yes, chef.
Her attitude during prep before the third service was a huge cause for frustration among her teammates.
What you working on?
I don't know. I'm not in the mood right now.
Gia's reluctance to contribute coupled with her lame excuses irked Aziza, Wendy, and Heather alike.
Gia, we've got so much stuff to do and so little time to do it. You can't just stand there and hold down the counter.
And this lack of dedication and teamwork set the tone for what was to come during the service. So, Gia found herself at the meat station alongside Aziza, and initially, her lamb dish received positive feedback, albeit tinged with a hint of fear on her part. However, her subsequent attempt came out overcooked.
It's like veal, it's overcooked. Hello?
Even after sending up a refire, Chef Ramsay was shocked to find her Wellingtons so sloppily sliced.
I have never ever, in the history of Hell's Kitchen, been given a Wellington that's not even sliced.
Yup, she set a new record.
Most expensive cut anywhere in the world, and look at the way it's dumped. Who gave me this?
I did.
Not one I'd ever want to have, but a new record nonetheless. Perhaps feeling a little too much pressure, she claimed to have nearly severed her finger while slicing them, prompting Chef Ramsay to call for medical attention.
Show me. Check out the medic. Medic!
However, despite her insistence, there was not one scratch anywhere on her body.
Where's the cut?
Right here.
Where?
It's not there.
Girl, no. The medic's arrival was met with Gia's dismissive attitude, rudely asserting that nobody needed medical assistance.
No, nobody needs a medic.
So she pulled a Jared, right?
Where's the cut?
I'm squeezing it, chef. It's not gonna bleed.
Oh my God, you're such a drama queen.
As the service rolled on, Gia's inconsistencies persisted. Her Wellingtons, crucial to the team's success, turned out to be raw, ultimately causing the red team's dismissal from the kitchen.
It won't bite. The cow's dead. Get out! Get out!
It won't bite, the cow's dead. That's so funny. But guess what? The red team did bite, but the dust. And Gia's fake injury paired with substandard cooking became one of the factors leading to the team's downfall. Back on the patio, Shayna tried to understand how Gia handled the lamb. Gia defended herself, arguing that she typically acted as a team player on other occasions.
I'm a team player.
Meat station up and it was a domino effect and we all fell.
Despite this, Gia claimed that everyone was unfairly targeting her for the lamb, even amidst all the other issues Kimberly brought up. But honestly, Jessica had just made one mistake on the pasta. As the discussion shifted towards selecting the second nominee for elimination, Jessica volunteered herself, considering it a respectful gesture.
Everyone on that team should have nominated themselves because we all failed.
That's so well-intentioned and noble. However, Jessica was frustrated how no one else stepped up for elimination and decided she would pack her bags if eliminated.
So I'm gonna go get my packed.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. During the ceremony, Gia defended herself by claiming that she was a hard worker, only to be humbled real quick.
What she's telling you, Chef, is a lie. She does have a nasty attitude. She doesn't help us a lot.
She vehemently disagreed with Kimberly's statements, and when her defenses crumbled, she decided to rat out Jessica.
She's already packed. I'm not packed. I'm ready to stay here.
God, talk about petty. And while Chef Ramsay usually doesn't care about what goes on in the dorms, he decided to not pay any heed to Jessica's defense and sent her packing.
You've packed. You are not ready to head to Vegas.
Now, plenty of people have called her a coward, but personally, I think the red team really weaseled their way out and did her dirty. They knew there were worse performers that night, let's be honest.
Gia and Jessica.
Yes.
Everybody's sure.
Agree. Yes.
What's your take on this? Don't forget to let me know, cause I'm genuinely curious. Anyway, things didn't get any better for Gia in the next service. When dealing with the special 12-top table in her fourth and final service, things went from bad to worse. Chef Ramsay was getting seriously annoyed because the main dishes were already waiting to go out, but Gia's blunders made everything worse.
You burned the potatoes.
No, I put currants in them instead of capers, chef.
That was a major mix-up, showing that she wasn't really paying any attention to what she was doing.
I got a million going on in my head, Ramsay. Give me a minute to absorb this.
But her delay and big mistake made the special 12-top table wait longer, and they were not happy about it. Well, naturally. Then she sent out poorly portioned green beans, which only added to Ramsay's frustration.
So I've got 3 beans. I got 4.5 beans per portion.
Like, how do you screw up beans? Gia seemed completely oblivious about it, as Chef Ramsay criticized it for being drenched in butter and being overcooked.
Hey, when you throw your arms in the air like that, what's all that for?
I'm trying to say that I'm answering, I'm focused, I'm listening.
But hey, she had an interesting answer. Listen to this.
These are my New York. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me?
New Yorkers, please say it ain't so. And that wasn't all. When questioned about her actions, she claimed she was paying attention, but Chef Ramsay accused her of surrendering to the challenges rather than trying to improve.
She's given up. It's flat.
Never given
There's
up.
no drive.
Never given up.
Eventually, Gia, assisted by Ryan, finally managed to send out correctly prepared food. For once, despite the red team winning the service, Gia's poor performance on the garnishes coupled with her unimproved attitude and perceived resignation led to her elimination. And I can't say she didn't deserve it. The next dishonorable mention goes to not one particular chef, but the entire cast of season 11. Maybe with the exception of John, Mary, and Anthony. And by the way, I still think Anthony deserved a black jacket over someone like Susan. What about you? Anyway, you have to agree that season 11 had some pretty funny moments.
Bye, Chewy.
What the fuck is Bad Chewy? You mean Bad Choy food?
And of course, this too.
Wacky wacky.
Hey, you. Hey, come here, you. Zacky wacky.
In all seriousness though, Zach should have been sent packing the very moment he went after Ray. They really got rid of the wrong chef that night, like seriously. As for Dan, he might have lasted a bit longer if he hadn't become so unbearable by the end. He definitely got a raw deal from his team, but I feel like things might have gone differently if he hadn't reacted the way that he did. And seriously, how did Zach outlast both Michael and Anthony? That's a mystery to me, especially since he's so stupid.
Japanese food is like Chinese food. And the only reason I know that because my one Korean friend told me this.
Most of them were, to put it bluntly, incompetent. I'm still convinced that Gina was a production team plant. There's no way she got on the show otherwise. Oh, and I'm sure you know what happened to the winner Janelle. But do you know how she responded to controversy? Just check this out. Okay, rant over. Now it's time to share some of your rants of your own on who you think is the least talented chef of all time. You know where to put those comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. Now, if you thought this video was crazy, then make sure to check out this next one right here since it's even better.